to me, I know that those of us who are Somali in this country see ourselves as Americans. That's what our passport says. That's what our nationality is. And we know that we are protected by the 14th Amendment. We know that we're not going anywhere. And there is no way. I mean, he needs to just, I know he says he hasn't met me. Maybe he should spend 5 minutes with me, because then he would know that as Somalis, we are never intimidated, and, you know, we're never going to feel like our esteem or confidence is shaken by a bigoted fool, you know, making a mockery of the White House, of our nation, and of the presidency.
For me, is I feel embarrassed for him, because in these attacks, what he does, and I think with the likes of Nancy Mace and whoever that Randy guy is, they expose themselves for how stupid they are. And that is embarrassing for us as a country, because these are people who are elected to positions of leadership. He's supposed to be the president of the United States, who's heading off to Europe to represent us. When he does, he's uneducated enough to understand that members of Congress can't be impeached. You know, when you have Nancy and Randy saying, you know, we're on it, we're going to impeach her. When they're saying they're going to deport me, knowing full well that you cannot deport an American citizen. What that displays for not just Americans, but folks on an international platform, is that our country is being led by idiots. And that is not something that we should be comfortable with as Americans, and that's not something that should make us proud. And so in this moment, I feel great sadness as an American that these are the kind of people that the world gets to see representing us.
Good evening, Patriots, and welcome back to Harlan Reports. I'm Harlan, and I am so glad you are here with me tonight. Before we get into this incredible story, I have a small favor to ask. Please, right now, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with everyone you know. Your family, your neighbors, your friends at church. The truth is moving fast, and the mainstream media might try to hide it, but we won't let them. We need every single one of you to help spread this message. Today, history was made, and you deserve to hear every word of it.
DHS came out and said, you know, we're really considering denaturalization action against some of these major criminals. Can you explain that? I mean, I think that would really stick. A lot of people would say, wow, the Trump administration is really serious if they start denaturalizing people in this country.
Yeah, under U.S. law, if you procure citizenship or a visa, a green card on fraudulent grounds, that is basis for denaturalization or removal of that visa or green card. So, of course, President Trump has directed the Department of Homeland Security. We're doing a massive scale audit on these countries of concern, Somalia being among them. And so we're looking at how are these citizenship procured? How are these visas procured? We know that the past administration, basic mechanisms were not being done, basic checks were not being done. And so we did see wide-scale fraud. We did see wide-scale abuse of our legal immigration system. And so it's really incumbent upon us to go back, see how this was procured. And if that means denaturalization, that's a route that's certainly on the table.
Okay. What is the legal process there? I mean, a lot of people say that Ilhan Omar engaged in immigration fraud as well. I mean, the White House is out posting articles about it. What you're saying is that if somebody like Ilhan Omar was engaged in immigration fraud, that they could have their American citizenship stripped away, and there's a legal process for that.
Oh, absolutely. That's under U.S. law. If they have procured their citizenship, this could be anyone, including Ilhan Omar, on a fraudulent grounds, that could be revoked.
Do you have success in those actions? I mean, we've read the New York Times piece. We've seen some of the build up to this. We've seen the messaging on it. But are you seeing actual success? I know that this is a legal process, right?
Absolutely. This is a case-by-case basis, a legal process. This is something that President Trump has been very focused on. Secretary Noem has been incredibly focused on. But I do, Benny, if you wouldn't mind, I want to back up to also what we're seeing on the ground as far as some of these suspected fraudsters. What we're seeing, and I think that there has been some coverage of it actually from you all, is that these people are really scrambling to cover up their tracks and trying to create the illusion that there are legitimate business operations and business practices going on when it's all a fugazi. So that's something that I think we're going to see more and more of, and those viewers watching should be aware of. But our Homeland Security investigators, our FBI, and other law enforcement on the ground are also aware that this is going on, and they're not going to be, wool's not going to be pulled over their eyes.
Somalians ripped off that state for billions of dollars, billions, every year, billions of dollars, and they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks. And we don't want them in our country. I could say that about other countries too. I can say it about other countries too. We don't want them to hell. We have to rebuild our country. Our country's at a tipping point. We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it. We could go one way or the other. And we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. They came from paradise, and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell, and they complain, and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it. Okay? Thank you very much, everybody.
Folks, I have to tell you, my heart is beating so fast right now. I've been sitting in this chair for a long time, reporting on the ups and downs of our great country, but tonight feels different. Tonight, I have a fire in my belly that I haven't felt in years. It's that warm, powerful feeling you get when you finally see justice being served, when you see the good guys winning, and the rules finally mattering again. I'm almost choking up just thinking about it, because we have waited so long for this moment. We are talking about President Donald Trump, our 47th president, and a promise he made to all of us. He promised to put America first. He promised that no one, absolutely no one, is above the law. And today, on January 6, 2026, he proved that he meant every single word. You all know who I'm talking about. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. For a long time, there have been serious questions about her past, her immigration papers, and how she got into our beautiful country. Just a few days ago, she was on TV laughing. She was actually laughing. She dismissed President Trump's warning like it was a silly joke. She acted like she was untouchable, like the rules that apply to you and me didn't apply to her. It hurt to watch, didn't it? It felt like a slap in the face to every honest person who follows the rules. But today, that laughter stopped. It stopped cold. This afternoon, the Department of Homeland Security, the people who keep our borders safe, dropped a bombshell announcement. The Assistant Secretary stepped up to the microphone and said it plain and simple. Yes, absolutely. Her citizenship can be revoked for fraud. When I heard those words, I had to pause. I had to take a deep breath because I felt tears stinging my eyes. This isn't just about politics, folks. This is about fairness. It's about the fact that under President Trump, the truth matters again. The DHS isn't playing games. They are looking at the files. They are checking the records. And they are saying that if you lied to get here, you cannot stay here. For years, we've watched politicians act like they are better than us. But President Trump is showing us that in America, the law is king. Today's news is a signal to the whole world that the game has changed. The free passes are gone. The special treatment is over. And for the first time in a long time, it feels like the government is finally on the side of the people. Stay tuned, because I'm going to walk you through exactly how we got here, and why this is the best news we've heard all year.
Allow that to happen. Ilhan Omar should be sent out of our country. She should not be allowed to be a congresswoman. She married her brother either to stay or to get him into the country. And yesterday she, I guess, made up a story. She said the police attacked her son. They stopped a car and the police said, We never attacked him. We never stopped her. It was a made-up story. She's a con person. She's full of con. She says zero. She said, you ought to get her the hell out of our country. That's what you ought to do. She made up a story that the police stopped her son's car.
Reporter czar Tom Homan joins us tonight to talk about Minnesota as well as a number of other issues. And sir, it's good to have you back on the show. Trump mentioning the Daily Mail reporting from 2020 that Ilhan Omar married her brother to get into the country. This was last week. Take a listen.
Look at their nation. Look how bad their nation is. It's not even a nation. It's just people walking around killing each other. They've taken billions and billions of dollars. They have a representative, Ilhan Omar, who they say married her brother. It's a fraud.
Calls that a fraud. It's a story that has never been successfully refuted, even though it's now a 5-year-old story. That's clearly a deportable offense. Is there an investigation into that?
You know, I just got advised by a fraud investigator the other day on that. I asked the question, who reviewed the file, and says that there was immigration fraud involved. The statute of limitation became an issue in the last 4 years when this was first brought up. Who was president? Who ran DOJ? So pulling the records now, pulling the files, and we're looking at, but this fraud investigator, who I know personally, one of the best fraud investigators in HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, said there's no doubt he reviewed the file. So I'm running that down this week, matter of fact, and we'll see.
It's tremendous that, I mean, and according to the Secretary, Kristi Noem of DHS, she said nearly 50% of the visas are fraudulent in this community. I mean, that would mean that half the Somali refugees are here in some way illegally. What's going to happen? Is something's actually going to happen? Are there going to be people stripped of their visas, deported? Are we going to see that?
Absolutely. I mean, those days are over. Thank God President Trump's in the White House. We're going to look at all of them. I mean, we're going to look at those here illegally, of course. We're going to look at those here under a visa or some sort of, immigration process that are criminals. We're going to look at the national security threats. But those who came through a process that weren't properly vetted, who didn't provide documentation, who slipped through the Biden's weak processes on, giving visas and temporary, whether student visas or visitors visas or whatever. We're going the whole gamut. President Trump has instructed us go down.
Friends, it wasn't just that she laughed. It was how she laughed. Let me take you back just a few short days ago. I was sitting right there in my living room, coffee in hand, watching this interview. Ilhan Omar was on the screen, and the reporter asked her a simple, serious question about President Trump's plan to deport people who cheated to get here. A fair question, right? But instead of a serious answer, what did we get? We got a chuckle. We got a smirk. She leaned back, looked right into the camera, and laughed. She said, "I don't know why this is such a scary threat. I'm grown. I can live wherever I want." I have to tell you, folks, when I saw that, I felt a knot tighten in my stomach. It hurt. It really hurt. It felt like she was looking down at every single one of us, the factory workers in Pennsylvania, the farmers in Nebraska, the moms driving school buses in Florida, and saying, "The rules are for you, not for me." It was like she was laughing at the very idea that she could face consequences. It was pure arrogance, plain and simple. She acted like the sacrifices made by people who came here the right way, waiting in line, filling out the paperwork, learning the history, didn't matter. She acted like President Trump was just talking big, like he wouldn't actually do anything. She thought her title and her position in Washington would protect her forever. She thought she was untouchable, but oh how wrong she was. While she was laughing, President Trump wasn't joking. He wasn't laughing back. He was working. He was in the Oval Office, meeting with the patriots at the Department of Homeland Security. He was looking at the files. He was making sure that when the time came to act, it would be swift, legal, and undeniable. That is what makes this moment today so powerful. It's not about being mean, it's about respect. When that news broke today, when the DHS said yes, absolutely, it wiped that smirk right off her face. The laughter is gone now, the room has gone quiet, and for the first time in a long time, the people who follow the rules are the ones smiling. We are smiling through tears of relief, because we finally have a leader who doesn't let anyone mock our laws. President Trump saw that disrespect. He felt it just like we did, and he decided it ends now. The free ride is over. Let's dig a little deeper, friends, because this hurts. It hurts in a way that is hard to explain unless you love this country as much as I know you do. Think about what it means to be a congresswoman. You stand there, you raise your right hand, and you place it on the Holy Bible. You swear a sacred oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States? It is a moment of honor. It is a promise to God and to the people. But here is the question that is making everyone so emotional today. How can you protect the laws of this land if you broke them just to get in the door? For years, we have heard the stories. We have heard the whispers about marriage fraud, about marrying a brother just to cheat, the immigration system. It sounds like something out of a bad movie, doesn't it? But the investigators, and now the DHS under President Trump, are telling us this is real life. They are telling us that the foundation of her entire life here might be built on a lie. Imagine how that makes the honest people feel. I'm thinking about the legal immigrants I've met, people who spent years saving their money, studying for the citizenship test, learning English, and waving that American flag with tears of joy in their eyes. They did it the hard way. They did it the right way, and then they see someone like Ilhan Omar, who allegedly cut the line, cheated the system, and rose to power, only to laugh at the country that gave her everything. It's a betrayal. It's a stab in the back to every honest person. And that is why today's news from the DHS is making groan men cry. When the Assistant Secretary confirmed that her citizenship could be stripped, it was like a heavy weight was lifted off our shoulders. It was the government finally saying, we know, we see it too, and it matters. President Trump gets this. He understands that you cannot have a strong country if you let people mock the rules. He is fighting for the honor of that oath. He is fighting for every person who told the truth. When the DHS dropped that bombshell today, they weren't just talking about paperwork. They were talking about integrity. They were telling us that the truth is finally catching up to the lie, and for the first time, it feels like the good guys are finally in charge again. Folks, I want you to close your eyes for a second. I want you to think about the hard-working families in your town. I'm talking about the single mom working 2 jobs just to put food on the table. I'm talking about the elderly veteran counting pennies to pay for his medicine. These are the people President Trump fights for. These are the people who make America great. Now, I want you to think about where their tax money goes. It goes to help our schools, our roads, and our neighbors when they fall on hard times. It is a pot of gold that we all contribute to, trusting that it will be used to help Americans. But here is the part that breaks my heart, and it should make you angry too. In Minnesota, in the very district Ilhan Omar represents, there was a massive fraud. We are talking about $250 million. That is $250 million, folks. That money was supposed to feed hungry children. It was supposed to make sure that kids in need didn't go to bed with empty stomachs. Instead, investigators say that money was stolen. It was taken by fraudsters and sent overseas. It was used to buy fancy cars and luxury houses, while American children suffered, and for years, people have been asking, what did Ilhan Omar know? How deep do these ties go? This is why today's news from the DHS is so emotional. It's not just about immigration papers. It's about justice for those hungry kids. It's about the fact that while our people were struggling, people who might have committed fraud were living the high life. It makes you want to scream, doesn't it? It feels so unfair. But then, you remember who is in the White House. You remember that Donald Trump doesn't care about being polite to the powerful. He cares about protecting you. When the DHS said today that they are looking at everything, including the marriage, fraud allegations, and the financial ties, it was a message. It was President Trump saying, I will not let them steal from my people anymore. He is standing between the wolves and the sheep, and he is finally fighting back. The days of looking the other way are over. We are finally getting the answers we deserve. I want to share a story with you that I just can't shake. It's about a man named Mike. Mike lives up in Minnesota, right near where all this trouble has been happening. He's a good man, a construction worker. He wakes up before the sun, works hard all day with his hands, and comes home tired just to provide for his family. He's the kind of guy who built this country. Mike sent me an email last month, and I could feel the pain in his words. He said, Harlan, I feel like a stranger in my own town. I see things changing. I see people who don't respect our flag, who don't want to be part of our community, getting help while I struggle to pay my taxes. He told me about the fraud, about seeing money that should go to his kids' schools disappearing into thin air. He said he felt forgotten. For a long time, men like Mike were told to sit down and be quiet. They were told that if they complained, they were being mean. But Mike isn't mean. He just wants fairness. He wants to know that the rules are the same for everyone, and that is why President Trump is his hero. That is why this moment is so important. When the DHS made that announcement today, it was like they were speaking directly to Mike. It was like President Trump reached out, put a hand on his shoulder, and said, I hear you, Mike. You are not forgotten anymore. This deportation push. It's not about hate. It's about love. It's about loving the American citizens enough to protect them. It's about making sure that the resources of this great nation go to the people who belong here, who built this place, and who love it with all their hearts. Today, Mike has a reason to hope again. Today, we all do. Because finally, someone is fighting for the forgotten men and women of America. You know, friends, there is a very different sound in Washington, D.C. tonight. Usually, when one of their own gets in trouble, the politicians rush to the microphones. They scream, they shout, they circle the wagons to protect each other. But tonight the silence is deafening. Why are they so quiet? I'll tell you why. Because they are scared. For decades, the elites in the swamp thought they were safe. They thought they could break the rules, sell out our country, and never face the music. They thought that because they wore fancy suits and went to fancy parties, the laws didn't touch them. They looked at President Trump and laughed because they didn't think he could actually stop things them. But when that DHS official spoke today, a chill went down the spine of every corrupt politician in that city. They realized that if Ilhan Omar, a sitting congresswoman, can face the consequences for fraud, then anyone can. The walls are closing in. I can just picture them right now, making frantic phone calls, shredding papers, wondering if they are next. It's like when you turn on the kitchen light in the middle of the night and watch the roaches scatter. President Trump has turned the lights on, folks, and he is exposing the rot that has been hiding in the dark for way too long. This brings tears to my eyes because, for years, they told us we were crazy. The media told you that you were conspiracy theorists for asking questions. They called you names. They said you were anti-immigrant, just for wanting people to follow the law. It was lonely, wasn't it? It was hard to hold on to the truth when the whole world was gaslighting you, but you held on. You kept the faith. And today, President Trump vindicated every single one of us. He proved that we weren't crazy. We were right. The panic you see in Washington tonight is the sound of the old, corrupt system crumbling down. It is the sound of justice finally marching back into town. And let me tell you, it is the sweetest sound I have ever heard. Trump isn't just cleaning house. He's building a new foundation where truth is the only thing that stands. My friends, I want us to take a moment to really think about what it means to be an American. It is not just about living on a piece of land between Canada and Mexico. It is about holding a sacred gift in your hands. I remember attending a naturalization ceremony a few years back. It was in a small courthouse, not far from here. I saw men and women from all over the world standing there. They were dressed in their Sunday best. Some of them had been waiting 10, maybe 15 years for that day. When they raised their right hands to say the Pledge of Allegiance, they weren't just saying words. They were crying. Tears were streaming down their faces because they knew how precious that moment was. They knew they were finally part of the greatest family on God's green earth. Now, imagine how those people feel when they see someone cheat. Imagine how it feels to work so hard, to follow every rule, to pay every fee, and then see someone else just cut the line and laugh about it. It breaks your heart, doesn't it? It makes you feel like your hard work didn't matter. But today, President Trump sent a message to every single one of those new citizens. By going after the fraud, he is telling them, your hard work does matter, your citizenship is special, and I will not let anyone cheapen it. That is why this news is making people so emotional tonight. It's not just about punishing the bad guys, it's about honoring the good guys. When the DHS steps in to revoke a citizenship obtained by fraud, they are scrubbing the stain off our flag. They are polishing the shine on the American dream. President Trump understands that if you let people steal citizenship, it becomes worthless, but he wants it to be the most valuable thing in the world. He is standing like a guard at the gate of our home, making sure that the people who come in are the ones who truly love us and respect us. Today, he proved that he is the defender of the American dream, and for millions of legal immigrants who love this country, he is the only one who has ever truly had their backs. And that, folks, is a beautiful thing to witness. Folks, I want you to remember back to the rallies. Remember the sea of red hats. Remember the feeling in the air? It was electric. We stood there for hours, rain or shine, listening to Donald Trump speak. And what did he tell us? He told us that if we gave him a chance, he would fix what was broken. He told us that he would drain the swamp. A lot of politicians make promises. They say nice things to get our votes, and then they go to Washington and forget all about us. They get comfortable. They make deals with the other side. But Trump, he is different. He is not a politician. He is a patriot. When I see this news about Ilhan Omar today, I don't just see a legal case. I see a promise kept. I see a president who remembers exactly what he told the people in Ohio, in Michigan, in Arizona. He told us he would restore the rule of law, and he is doing it. This is why I get so choked up. It's rare to find a man of his word in this world. It's rare to find someone who actually does what they say they are going to do, Even when the media attacks him, even when the other side screams and yells, he stands tall like a rock in a storm. Think about what this means for our future. If he can take on a sitting congresswoman and say, "The law applies to you, too," then imagine what else he can do. Imagine how safe our streets will be. Imagine how strong our economy will grow. This is just the beginning, my friends. This is the first step in a long journey back to greatness. And as I sit here tonight, wiping tears from my eyes, I thank God that we have a leader who is strong enough to keep his promises to the American people. You know, friends, for a long time, it felt like we were living in a country that had lost its way. I remember walking down the street and feeling a heavy weight in my chest. It felt like we were always apologizing. We were apologizing for wanting safe borders. We were apologizing for loving our flag. We were told that it was wrong to put America first. It made you feel small, didn't it? It made you feel like you were second class in your own home. But today, with this one bold move by the DHS, the sun is finally breaking through the clouds. Can you feel the warmth? It's the feeling of dignity coming back. When President Trump's administration said yes to revoking citizenship for fraud, they sent a signal that is ringing out from coast to coast. They are saying that we are done apologizing. We are done feeling guilty for wanting our laws to be respected. We are standing up, dusting ourselves off, and looking the world right in the eye. I have to wipe my eyes again because the relief is just so overwhelming. It's like a long, dark winter is finally over and spring is here. We are watching a new standard being set right in front of our faces. It is a standard where truth wins and lies lose. It is a standard where the people who love this country are the ones who get to decide its future. And the best part? The world is watching. They see that America is strong again. They see that we have a leader who doesn't back down. The days of being laughed at are gone. Today, we are respected. Today, we are proud. And as we head into the final moments of this broadcast, I want you to hold on to that feeling. Because what comes next? Oh, what comes next is going to make your heart soar like an eagle. We are not just fixing the past, we are securing a glorious future. As we come to the end of this broadcast, I want to leave you with one final thought. I want you to picture the American flag flying high above the White House tonight. The wind is blowing, the stars are shining, and the stripes are waving bold and true. For a long time, that flag felt heavy. It felt like it was carrying the weight of all the mistakes, all the lies, and all the forgotten promises. But tonight, that flag looks lighter. It looks brighter. It looks like it is dancing in the sky. We have witnessed something special today, my friends. We have seen that in President Trump's America, justice is not dead. We have seen that fairness is making a comeback. We have seen that no matter how powerful you think you are, you cannot mock the people and get away with it. I am looking at the monitor right now, and I see messages pouring in from all of you. You are saying, "Thank you, Harlan." You are saying, "I am crying happy tears." Well, I am crying right along with you. These are tears of joy because our country is healing. We are fixing the cracks in the foundation, and we are building a future that our grandchildren will be proud of. President Trump has given us a gift today. He has given us our dignity back. He has reminded us that America is still the shining city on a hill, and he will fight with every breath in his body to keep it that way. So tonight, sleep well, patriots. Hug your kids a little tighter. Say a prayer of thanks, because the good guys won today. The truth won, and the best is yet to come. This is Harlan, signing off with a heart full of love for this great nation. God bless President Trump. God bless your families. And God bless the United States of America. Folks, if this story touched your heart like it touched mine, please, I am begging you, do not let this moment pass. Click that subscribe button right now. Hit the like button so the whole world sees this video. And share this with everyone you know. The mainstream media won't tell you the truth, but we will. We need you in this fight. Join our family here at Harlan Reports, and let's keep winning together. Good night and stay strong.